In the second reading from Exodus, it says that Moses spoke to God in a certain way. What way was that? Anybody remember? How did? As a friend, and specifically in what way? Face to face. Yet, in the very same reading, a few verses down, we also heard what? No one can see what? No one can see my face and live. Yet, Moses says, reveal yourself to me. We are called to know God intimately, deeply, so that we may share in that relationship like Moses and speak to God as one speaks to a friend, face to face. But that's not like, hey, Lord, how's it going? I just wanted to say, thanks, things are going well. Keep up the good work, What do you think, Lord? Should I use a 9-iron on this one? What, That's not that kind of friend. Because if you look closely at that reading, what is Moses talking to God about immediately following that? What is on his mind? Do you remember? He had a problem. He said, Lord, we're in this wilderness, and if wherever we go, we're vulnerable. We're not going to make it. What do we need? We need you to do something for us. And do you remember what that was? We need you, literally it says in the Hebrew, your face to go before us, your presence to go before us, so that all the nations will know that you are Yahweh, you are the Lord. He doesn't just ask God or talk to God as a friend kind of casually. There are stakes. The reason that he asks God to reveal himself to him is not for a selfish reason that, I kind of want to be confirmed to myself. I have some maybe doubts. I'm not really sure, Lord. Could you just, give me the inside look so I can be 100%? No. He's saying, I need that revelation because with it comes the authority to lead your people Israel. With that comes the power and the presence of God even shining from my face. They couldn't look at Moses when he came down from the mountain after talking with God. They had to veil him. You hear that talked about in Hebrews. So they're high stakes. A person doesn't get to see God or even come close to seeing God or speak with God face to face, just because. It's always because there is an extraordinary issue about to happen. It is a visitation of God. We say, God, when God visits the nations, it's not a good thing. It means bad stuff is happening, and God actually has to come down and show himself, show his glory, and somehow show his justice. And that's a terrifying thing, because his holiness is powerful and great and even deadly. Elijah is in the same boat. Elijah has fled into the wilderness because of what? Who's running the show? You remember? Jezebel and Ahab. We'll list her first because she was the one who was really pulling the strings. And she was bringing in the Baal worship and persecuting the prophets of God and running them out of the land. Some were in hiding, though Elijah says, I'm the only one left. It wasn't really true. Obadiah and some others were still around hiding out somewhere. But he's a marked man for death. And not only is he marked for death, but all the worshipers of Yahweh, in essence, are marked for death. The people of God as a people who are identified by the fact that they worship Yahweh and not Baal or the other gods of the nations, their existence is at risk. And so Elijah receives also a revelation on the mountaintop in the small, still voice, right? And he comes to know God face to face. And thus, you see both of them remembered in the Old Testament readings, but in particular in the hymnography and in the iconography of the feast, because when the disciples go up to the mountain, Jesus is going to reveal something to them, and they see Moses and Elijah talking with Jesus. And what does it say that they were talking to Jesus about? Do you remember? About what was about to happen to him. What was about to happen to him? Hint, Matthew 17 is the Transfiguration. What follows shortly thereafter? Later in the gospel. What? What's Holy Week? The Passion, right? the passion. The Lord is going to his sufferings. And so they're talking about the sufferings. And so he takes up Peter, James, and John, the chief disciples, and they are witness to this. In addition to this, to the glory of God, the same glory that Moses and Elijah beheld. They come and are able to see God face to face, because now the face of God, whom no man can see, is mediated through the incarnate God. The incarnation of God makes the human face the face of God, because that's the same person. And so they're able to finally see him, though they can't really, because as you see an icon, what happens? They fall down. They can't, and the hymn says, you revealed your glory to them as much as they were able to bear, which is to say, not much. It was overwhelming. And then he says to them, after that cloud of glory passes, do not tell anyone the vision until what? After what? After he's died and risen from the dead. The same high stakes that Moses was facing in the wilderness, Elijah was facing in the time of persecution, now Christ is embodying in himself, because if he goes down, the whole church goes down with him, right? If Christ is not risen from the dead, we are the most pitiable of all. Christ is showing them his glory to strengthen them, to show his face before them, to go before them, so that when the time of persecution, the time of trouble, the time of suffering comes, they will be emboldened to know that he is Yahweh. He is the Lord. His name is proclaimed. And so, even though they fall, and John doesn't, he manages to hang out and stay through it all. Peter denies Christ 3 times and runs and hides in shame. But even so, he's restored in the resurrection. And Peter then talks about it actually in his epistles. That strengthened him, though at first he stumbled. So brothers and sisters, do you want to see the face of God? I had a professor in seminary saying that, this was our task, was to purify our souls so that we could be worthy to see the face of God. But I said, Professor, what if I don't want to see it? And it's not because I don't want to see God, but it's such a terrifying reality. And with it comes suffering. If I see the face of God in this life, I know it's because I'm preparing for a big deal, for something major. To be filled with that light is something awesome in all the meaning. Awful and awesome. It will fill you with awe, but it will be awful to experience. And those who have experienced this can show you and tell you as much. Martyrs like Stephen shone with the light. Those who died in preparation and God was close to them, they shone with light on their deathbeds. And we see this over and over in the lives of the saints. We'll have tomorrow St. Theodora of Sila, a great monastic saint of Romania, who in her hermit life in the wilderness people stumbled upon her praying with the light surrounding her. This is a real thing that happens to us because God is real and his glory is made known to us through the light of his countenance. May God bless you through the light of his countenance, always, now, and ever, and unto ages of ages.